Welcome to Insights from the Couch, where real conversations meet real life at midlife.
We're Colette and Laura, two therapists and best friends, walking through the journey right alongside you. Whether you're feeling stuck, restless, or just unsure of what's next, this is a space for honest conversations, messy truths, and meaningful change.
And our Midlife Masterclass is now open. If you're looking to level up, get into action, and make midlife the best season yet, go to insightsfromthecouch.org and join our waitlist. Now let's dive in. All right, let's get into it. This is one of my favorite topics, what we don't care about anymore at midlife, what we do care about. And really, as we're at year's end, how are we filtering this as we do an audit of the year, right? Instead of resolutions, let's really process our experiences and what we can learn from it so that we can shed some things that are dragging us down with emotional baggage in the new year. And we can keep the things that fill us up, give us energy, and bring us joy.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and this all comes from the work of what's her name, Melanie Sanders.
Well, she started, I don't think the things that I'm going to share come from her.
No.
As yours don't. But like
premise.
she started the We Do Not Care Club. She's got like 2 million followers, maybe more by now. She's been featured in the New York Times, which is where I found her. And she famously did this video where she was like, I don't care about my chin hairs, At my college reunion, we were talking about, my friend was like, I have this like one goat hair that's like so coarse. She's like, and I know right where it is. And we're all dying laughing. Right. And Melanie Sanders started this because there are certain things about midlife that are very new, that are not glamorous, and that society, classical, historical, patriarchal, and let's be honest, somewhat misogynistic society has made us feel like we should crawl into a corner and disappear when we're no longer at that sexual reproductive age, that we should look hot forever, even if we have to twist ourselves into a pretzel, starve ourselves, get plastic surgery. Right? If we're not hot and fuckable, we shouldn't exist. And I think Melanie Sanders, the reason it resonated is because women are saying, fuck that. Right? Like, I'm going to care about certain things at this stage, but it's not going to be looking hot for societal standards. Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
You want to look good for you. I'm not saying, you have to give up on your looks, but we really, at midlife, we've got to really get real about what matters and what doesn't.
And I have to speak for myself that's become a really natural process. Like, I feel like I'm curating and refining all the time. And I think you and I both are of the school of thought of like, we're both pretty good at letting go of things, like even tangible things. But I've always been good at shedding, given away a lot of clothes. I've given away a lot of stuff. I throw things out. So it's like letting go of is part of a practice of mine that I'm pretty comfortable with. And as I'm aging, I'm only wanting to let go of more.
Me too.
I don't know
Laura.
if you relate to that.
Oh, I relate to it so much. I love shedding and purging stuff. I am the opposite of a hoarder. I'm like an over purger. Cleaning out gets me high. I love it. Like, if I could move into a 500 square, like pied-à-terre, I would. And I may at some point, and just only be able to keep what fits into that 500 square foot. That actually is a challenge that would light me up with excitement. Mm-hmm. So I think we're talking about now, even if you're not into that, as some people aren't, we're talking about that kind of process emotionally and for our own developmental good. And the end of the year, rather than fixating on resolutions, and we're not saying don't have those if they're meaningful to you, even though the science of them is that they really mostly don't work. But let's use the end of the year as a time to reflect, and not just on the year, but maybe what you learned this year and beyond at this stage of life. And like, as we go into a new year, what do we want to carry forward? What do we want to keep that we care about? And what do we want to say, just like Melanie Sanders, we do not care anymore. And I'll start with one that I feel really committed to and very passionate about. Other people's opinions of my body right? It's fitness, it's lack of fitness, what I eat. I mean, I can't believe the people who are like, oh, you're eating that, or don't you want to, or you're not hungry, or just fuck off with that. Whether I'm drinking alcohol or not, it's none of your business. I don't want to explain myself. I shouldn't have to explain myself, and I'm not going to anymore. All of those things, the ways in which people, whether malintended or not, and much of the time I don't think it's malintended, but the way people feel free to comment, weigh in with their opinions, offer unsolicited advice, and police women's bodies and choices. I'm done. I don't care. I will tell you I don't care. And I will tell you in a way, if you're really being what I consider invasive at this point, I'm just going to put a stop to it.
Do you get feedback like that?
You don't?
No.
Okay, so I think some of this it's interesting. I think some of how much feedback I get may be the fact that I'm very open book. And I do tend to like really even overshare about my life. And I think that gives people, so I may be complicit in this to a degree. I think that gives people a feeling of like permission that they can say whatever to me. And I do want people to be able to say things to me, but what I don't like is, and also I think I have a big personality. So when I make a change or something, I think it tends to get noticed. You know what I mean? Whether I want it to or not. So if I make, like, let's say I'm not drinking. I mean, I went to a party last night, and again, nobody was being rude or none of this was malintended, but multiple people commented like, are you drinking? Are you having a drink? And I didn't drink. And I mean, I actually bought a drink and I had a couple sips, and then I was like, I don't even like it. And I don't even want anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things also I'm really moving away from is alcohol. I'm not giving it up entirely because at this point in my life, I don't even crave it enough to make it a big thing. But I definitely want alcohol to be minimal in my life. I don't want to be intoxicated anymore. I don't find any value in that. And if you do, that's totally, I respect your choices. But I think what I'm trying to say mostly is that caring about what other people think of my choices and how I dress, what I eat, what I drink, what I'm doing, just no more.
Yeah. I mean, I can't relate to that because maybe when my mom comes into town, I'll get
you have it with your mom.
I'll get some feedback on my outfit choices.
Yeah.
So, I don't even, I'll put a boundary there. But I do get a lot of feedback from my family, especially my husband, where we run on opposite schedules. I go to bed early. He stays up late. And it's always, you're going to bed now? You're in bed now. You're going to bed now? Yes.
I'm going to bed.
I'm going to bed. I want to be in my bed by 8:00, and I don't want to explain it anymore. I just need to be in bed at a certain time, and I'm going to get up at a certain time. Yes,
okay,
it's going to be early.
Same thing in my house.
I'm not explaining that anymore.
Yep. And I also get in bed at 8:00, between 8 and 9:00. There have been times I've gotten in bed before 8:00.
I'm like, it's 7:30. I'm like, is it too early to just lay there?
I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm going 100 miles an hour. I'm burning tons of emotional energy. I mean, therapy is a very intense job. I am wiped by the end of the day. You and I are both up early. And I agree. I'm not explaining. I think that's it. Let's say it this way. I'm done with explaining my choices.
I love that. I'm done with explaining mine too.
Yeah. If you don't like it, it's totally your prerogative. You can disagree. You can think I'm crazy, whatever. That's fine. You're allowed to have your opinion, but I'm not going to care about that. I'm going to be the decision maker in my own life and really tune out other people's opinions. Now, if I want an opinion, which I sometimes do, right, then I'll ask for it.
Yeah. Another thing, like it's just back to the stuff thing is, I'm coming to the end of raising 3 kids. I have one in grad school, one in college, one about to go to college, and I'm really ready for a multitude of reasons, but like really ready to shed the heaviness of managing a 5-bedroom home, cleaning 4 bathrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, I don't even know how many bathrooms we have, but I'm just saying like it's a rambling responsibility
Yeah.
of bills and stuff. And I'm really ready to do a purge and a downsize into something like my husband's going to be 56. I'm ready for a smaller, more manageable life. And
I've done that and I love it.
I can't wait.
I mean, I'm in a small house now. I love it. It's manageable to exactly your point. I've had my girls, they're adults now. They're out of college. I've had them go through their stuff for exactly this reason. I want a light footprint. I want to feel free to move about the cabin that is the world, and I feel like you do a lot of work as a mom, a lot of giving, a lot of caretaking. And this is the season of me.
Yeah. But I don't want to get it twisted, just to your point of like, there's things we're not giving up. Like I will always have a beautiful environment. Like my environment has to be beautiful. I spend a lot of time at home. I'm a homebody.
Me too.
It's very important to me how my home feels. So like, I'm not giving that up, but I'm giving up a rambling shell of responsibility.
Or the feeling that you have to have that. I mean, I think I'm also, I love my home. It's small, but I love it. I couldn't love it more. And if I were in 500 square feet, I too would want it to be aesthetically pleasing. I mean, home is your cocoon. I'm also not giving up that my home will always be a place, even if it's small, for my kids to come back to feel at home. Right. I'll probably keep doing their laundry when they visit and like making them something to eat. And, those things to me are nurturing that I enjoy and I embrace, and I want to keep those things. And I am done, like you, running this huge operation where it's always what I need or what matters to me comes last. There's a big house with tons of stuff. It's just so much to maintain. And developmentally, I think it's appropriate at this season that we're ready to kind of move on from that. Now, some people at midlife still have young kids, and that's definitely going to change that trajectory. But I think ask yourself, what can I let go of? What can I shed? What's weighing me down? And what might I fill the space with if I let go of certain activities or responsibilities that aren't as essential as they may have been in the past, or as they may seem just because we've been doing it over and over? What can I fill with that freedom? This is where there's possibility for change, for new hobbies, new friendships, new side hustles, or a new career path. Who knows? So like, let's shed some stuff that's weighing us down and get curious and start to explore.
Have you seen the thing on social media? And I guess it's the Chinese New Year, but it's like 2025 was the year of the snake.
Yeah, I've seen it and I have no idea what people are talking about.
Basically, the 2025 was shedding. And then 2026 is the year of the horse, which is like forcible. It's like strong movement forward motion.
All right.
So it's like we're shedding in this last phase of 2025 so that we can move forward powerfully with something new.
Well, and I think that's an interesting analogy to midlife, because midlife is a season of shedding. And in many ways, there's a lot of loss, right? We have to learn to let go of a lot of things. Having our kids at home, our youth, our reproductive capacity, in many ways, like our sexual desire and libido, certain relationships. And this brings me to another one, which is that I'm letting go of, I'm not angry, I'm not upset, but if a friendship doesn't feel reciprocal, and I am a very low maintenance friend, as I think you know, and you are a low maintenance friend too. And I think that's one of many reasons we get along so well. I feel like all my closest friends are low maintenance friends. In fact, let me just say this, friendships of all the relationships should be the easiest relationships.
Yeah.
Friendship is about having fun together, a safe place to turn to. You can be yourself, but friendships should not have a lot of demands at this stage of life. With that said, a friendship should feel energy giving. And it should feel like it's a ping pong game. Like I make effort, you make effort. We both make effort. I am
Right.
not going to try to, just because we have history or we work in the same place or our husbands are friends, I am not going to put energy into people who don't prioritize me. And I'm not going to resent them for it or be upset with them. I'm just going to redirect my energy. All you really need is an inner circle of 3 to 5 people in your life. Find those people and like curate those relationships and cultivate them and let the rest go.
I completely agree. I've been on that bandwagon for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that might be more how you operate in life.
Yeah, I think that is how I operate.
But even if you're someone like you, Laura, who isn't really like the extrovert like me, there are many friendships. I'm not saying I'm not going to be friends with these people anymore because I am such an extrovert, but I am not going to, I do a lot of work to maintain friendships.
Yeah,
and I think it's mostly natural to me. Like I will check in on people. I will reach out and say, how did this go? I will make plans and that's all great, but I'm not going to continue to put that into people who aren't putting it back. And if that means a friendship is like not really anymore or not that connected, then like, so be it. And let's tag on to this. If a friendship is toxic, like you've been friends with someone for a long time, but they do not make you feel good, they don't treat you well, maybe it's time to let go.
Yeah, 100%. One thing that I will say that I'm newly prioritizing, and maybe it's because I've had a couple years of just like some pretty intense stress, is I am prioritizing my regulation of my nervous system and my health in a way that like it's so sacred to me. And I think it's also seeing clients who I've seen people be ravaged by the situations in their lives or the responsibilities that they've had, just crushing things that have like left them kind of diminished and their nervous system is shot and they've been in fight or flight for a really long time. And you just see that their health and their emotional bandwidth has totally been depleted. And it's like, I'm so clear that can't happen to me. Like I will protect that at all costs at this phase of my life.
I think that's very wise. And I think that can be a real struggle, but you're right. Being emotionally regulated, protecting your peace, not living in survival mode and whatever you have to do to make that possible, whether it's habits like daily meditation, going for walks, keeping really firm boundaries that keep certain people, maybe you don't cut them off entirely, but they keep people at arm's length, like definitely we want to hold on to protecting your peace, And along with that, before we get into like what we're keeping fully, I just want to say one more, what I'm shedding. And I think I've been at this for a little while, but this is definitely a development for midlife. I am shedding pretending I'm fine when I'm not. And I really don't care, what people think of it. I believe I'm very emotional. I'm very external processing. I know you know this. Probably all of our listeners know this. And certainly you guys who know me in person, right? You see me in the grocery store, you're probably going to know exactly how happy or upset I am within a nanosecond. But I think there was a lot of obligation to try to perform or to try to give answers that people want to hear or to try to make it like something is something when it's not. And really at this season, I'm not saying that I'm going to unload and overburden people with having to hear my stuff, but if I'm stressed out and you ask me how I am, I'm probably going to tell you I'm stressed out. And then I'm going to ask about you. I just think we need permission to feel our feelings, to be not okay when we're not okay, and that this shouldn't have to be something we walk around pretending.
Yeah, I love that about you. I mean, it's one of my favorite things about our friendship is that you are so honest and it gives me permission to be more honest.
Like I just got together with a friend that I haven't seen in a long time. And she, like when I was asking about her life, I got this very glossed over, like nothing. There was no substance. There was no depth. And, that's certainly her right. But I left the get together feeling like, oh, I don't feel as close to this person. I think one of the things I'm keeping as we shift into that is like, I want depth. I want depth in my conversations. I don't want small talk. I don't want surface bullshit. And you don't have to like tell me everything about your personal life. I'm not saying that, but like, I want to be around people who are authentic and we can like talk about topics and get into the meat of something, an issue, a book, your life, not this surface bullshit.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of having friends if you can't get real support? I mean, I think it's so ingrained in people to give a varnished over explanation of their lives. They feel like it's not cool to go into personal details, or, I mean, there's so many people who are trained that way and they can't unlearn that. But I'm glad that you and I can always cry in public at a restaurant, talking about the real things.
In fact, I might cry today when we have lunch after this. It's possible. It's definitely possible.
It's on the table.
I mean, I've cried in every restaurant in Central Florida, openly and unabashedly.
Unapologetically. That's another thing. Who cares?
Right. Who cares? And this whole idea that crying, I mean, I'm really passionate about this, that when we're so conditioned, people are in my office, it's therapy, and they're apologizing for crying. Right? Like if you can't cry where can you cry?
Yeah, I know.
And tears are a way of regulating your nervous system. We secrete the neurochemicals for sadness. So you actually feel better after you cry. When you feel the urge to cry, you should let your body do it. And let's do it where we need to, when we need to, and stop apologizing for it because it's part of the human experience, as are our emotions. So what else are you keeping in this new year?
I've always been into my health and but it's my walking and my weightlifting. Weightlifting is one of these things that I started. Well, I've done it since I was 15, but I've done it on and off, after pregnancies, and there are seasons I get really into it and then I let it slip. But for the last 3 years, I've done it consistently, and I've thought about moments of like, oh, do I really want to pay for this? And now I understand it's an absolute non-negotiable to my week.
Yeah.
And I'm like 3 years into it, and I just can see what a game changer it's been. And I'm honestly not in the best body I've ever been in, but I am definitely as strong as I've been, and I'm not giving it up. I'm doubling down.
That's great. I second that. I'm at a very different state of progress with that, where I really haven't started and I'm not doing it with the consistency. I keep doing it, but I'm not consistent. So it is on my list to become more consistent and to really prioritize the weight part. And for me, getting outdoors. I think I'm in such a busy season of life. I'm doing so many jobs in addition to still having a very busy private practice, which is a very sedentary indoor job. I need to find ways to get outside more because nature is so restorative and good for mental health. So I think the weight training, the exercise, and also making all of it more bite size. Like I think I used to be like either, I've worked out most of my life, but it's like I'm either working out every day and it's hardcore and it's got to be like this, or it's okay if my workouts are a 20 or 30-minute walk some days.
Totally.
Most days even. So I think making things gentler, making things more bite size is really important. And I think something else I'm holding on to that we already touched on is the importance of filtering everything for meaning and purpose and connection. Let me add that one to it, right? Like being intentional about what I do with my time, why I'm doing it. Is this aligned with my purpose? Is this meaningful to me? Does this bring me a sense of connection? Because those are the nutrients that make life worth living. That's what makes you feel alive. There are certain things that we can't offload maybe for necessity, but I bet if you really get curious and you're willing to take an inventory and ask yourself some questions, that there are things that are weighing you down out of obligation or guilt that you could let go of and focus instead on what feels aligned to your purpose.
Yeah, I second that. I mean, I think I feel lucky to be in a line of work that feels meaningful. I'd like to find other ways to do what we do because it can be like you sitting in a small room.
Yeah.
And that can get exhausting, but I always feel grateful for what I do for a living. It's not
so
short on
meaningful.
meaning. It's so meaningful. I feel so honored to be sitting with people as they're expressing what they express and going through what they're going through. So I love that. And but what I know that I'm choosing now is more connection. You know, when I have an opportunity for more connection, I'm saying yes. And I didn't always say yes. There were a lot of years I was like, do we really have to do this? And now we just went out to dinner with some old friends. And it was like a whole body yes. It was like, yeah, like more of that.
Okay, I love that way of looking at it too. I mean, amen and yes to all of what you just said, but also like looking for the whole body yeses for what you hang on to. You know, I think that you just know some things are an automatic, energetic yes. And you just want to, right? And I think when things feel meaningful, when there's connection, it feels so good. It's self-reinforcing, and we need more of that. You know, less like performance and pressure and shoulds, and more like what feels good. What's going to bring me to friends and laughter. I mean, I'll even give an example. And you know, I am super into connection and like being with friends. And I've always been that way since I'm very young. My mom would say one friend would be leaving and I'd be like, can so-and-so come over? Yeah. Like I'm very much not drained by people. So, and filled up by people. But I think as I get older, I've gotten more introverted, and I'm also working a lot in many different buckets. So I'm pouring out a lot of energy and going 100 miles an hour all day, every day, working on the weekends. So last night there was a social gathering that, you know, I love everyone who was going to be there. But as the day went on, I was like, I don't want to go. I want to be in my pajamas. I'm exhausted, you know, and I went because it's a friend I care about. I had already said I would go, and I ended up having the best time. Yeah. And, you know, I allowed myself to go home when I felt like going home. I didn't drink alcohol because I didn't feel like it. I had just the loveliest time seeing friends, engaging. Every conversation felt relaxed and authentic and chill. And it just was so nice. And I'm so glad I went. And the relationships were more important to me than the pajamas in this case. But I'm so glad I did. And I think connection is always, it's the lifeblood.
It is the lifeblood. And just a minor thing, I am getting more annoyed by clothes that aren't comfortable. I can't deal with like there's so many times that I come home and I'm like, I need some good loungewear. I have a lot of workout clothes, but I need like really good, like soft loungewear. Cause I am like, I want to just crawl out of my clothes when I come home. If it's constricting pants or I just want to be in loungewear. And then the other thing I'm giving up, and I don't know if I've ever really adopted, but I really can't do them anymore, is like a heel that's like a heel. I can do a wedge, but I cannot do a wobbly little heel. I'm done.
All of my shoes that even look like nice or have a heel. I mean, I wear a heel because I'm really short, and actually I have very, very flat feet. So a flat shoe hurts my foot.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on the wedge. A lot of my shoes are Vionic orthotics. I still want my outfit to look cute, but I'm done with outfits that like are uncomfortable material that like make me feel like I'm stuffed in sausage casing, a heel that I'm wobbling on. Like, I don't want to be in pain anymore, you know? No. And this is a big midlife shift. I still do care about how I look. Like, I'm not ready to personally let my hair grow gray or any of those things. And I'm not saying that doesn't means you don't care about how you look. I'm just saying for me personally, there are certain things that I'm willing to put some effort into, including spending 3 hours in a hair salon and $300 to have blonde hair, which is sort of ridiculous when I say it out loud, but I'm keeping that for now. I care about that. for me, but I don't care about anything that's like super uncomfortable. Like I need to be, even my work clothes need to have like soft fabric, you know?
Yeah. I'm getting really sensitive to that
Me too.
as I get older. So
Me too.
I get it. I get it.
Okay. My final one is it's in line with what we've already said, but the freedom to speak my truth, to change my mind, to say what I think and feel, whether it's received or not, always with care for other people's feelings and how I express myself. I want to be tactful. I want to be kind, but I want the freedom to say, you know, I used to think that, but I don't anymore. Yeah, I said I would, but now I've changed my mind. You know what? I don't agree with that. That hurt my feelings. I'd rather not talk about that. I just want the freedom to be true to myself and to be vocal about it because I believe it's key to confidence. It's key to health, mental and physical. And I just feel like that's me honoring myself in the best way possible. And that's something really important to me at midlife.
I love all of that. Second, all of that. What I would say is I've given myself the permission to let go of the status quo. Like I have lived inside of the status quo for my entire life. And it was always, I mean, like the Joneses, like, you know,
Oh, I know. I was one.
Yeah. Like, and
Literally.
I was very attuned to that.
Yeah.
And I felt scared to color outside those lines. And I think that one of the best things about this phase of life and just watching my kids get older, and we did the whole college episode about, can you make irreverent choices? Can you be creative in your choices? We said that in every episode I think we've done recently. And I feel that freedom at this phase of life to reorganize things the way I want to not be like, well, that's the way so-and-so does it, or so-and-so's doing it this way, or everybody's doing this. No, I don't care what everybody's doing. I know what feels good for me. I know what feels good for the people around me. And that's all I care about. And I feel the freedom to be okay with that.
Jazz
like I don't,
hands.
yeah.
Yes to that. You know what it reminds me of? Like Sesame Street. Remember, one of these kids is doing his own thing. Now it's time to play our song. Do you remember that?
No, but I love it.
Oh my God. There were four quadrants and they would show kids and they'd all be doing the same thing and dressed alike. And then there'd be the one kid that was like doing something totally out of left field. Now, even as a young child, I always wanted to be that one kid doing something different.
See, that was hard for me.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
hard for me.
my personality type is the free spirit, but yes to this. And I think there is still, even though I'm a free spirit, I too have felt the tug of conformity. It's normal. Again, we're herd animals. We're going to be affected by those things. We all want to fit in. We want to be loved and accepted. And I think at this stage of life, it's like, okay, we still have that internal drive for that, but let's have the freedom to both of our points as we close out this episode, the freedom to say what needs to be said, to let somebody know if they've hurt our feelings, to hold boundaries, to live outside the status quo. At the end of the day, as you know, I talk about this quote all the time. In the top 5 regrets of the dying, the book by Bronnie Ware, that's famous from 15, 20 years ago, she's a hospice nurse, and the number one regret of the dying was, I wish I had lived my life for me rather than what other people wanted or thought. And I think this is really, it's a task to filter and decipher, but get clear on what's important to you, because by midlife, we're past the halfway point. I know we call it midlife, but really midlife at this point refers to people in their 40s and 50s. You know, at 55, you're most likely well past the midpoint. Time goes faster and faster, right? It's the VCR tape. Yeah, me too. And like, I'm going to get emotional about this. Like, if not now, when?
When?
Do the things that matter. Look for your purpose. Look for meaning. Look for real, authentic connection. Prioritize the things that light you up, that feel aligned, that make you feel your best self, because nobody's going to deliver anything to us on a platter. We got to go out there and like get it for ourselves.
Yeah. And not just one more thing before we go. Like, this is what I'm working on maybe this year more than anything, is that I always thought like there would be some arrival, like, oh, I'm working on this. And when this project's over, when I'll like live life then, or, when this kid gets into college, I can when I can finally relax, or like this thing.
Yeah.
And then I realized, no, wait a second, like life is here. Like it's right here, right now. It's right now. And so I've been getting better at being present to the life that's here now. And that is the art form I want to keep pulling forward for the rest of the time I'm here.
Beautiful. I agree, right? I think it's being present in your daily life and also accepting life as it shows up, right? With its messiness, with its imperfection, and not saying I'll do it when, like I'll do it now. How can I make today more joyful? What kind of practices can I do that light me up today? What's a small moment of connection? What would like move myself toward the meaning and purpose that I'm looking for? So we hope really that you guys take some of this, whatever fits for you, and discard the rest, and really think about not just this year, but how you want to live your life at midlife, what matters to you, what you can let go of that's weighing you down, that you've grown out of and you no longer need anymore. And then what do you do with that space, the freedom, the creativity, the possibilities, the meaning, the connection? It's all out there within your grasp. So we're so grateful that you listened. Once again, please share this episode with your friends. Take a minute to leave us a review. It really helps us get this podcast out into the world and into more listeners' ears. And we're so grateful for you and hope you had a wonderful holiday and a great New Year's. And again, that you got some good insights from our couch today. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.